Hello friends, in this episode we'll review the most talked about events in Poland, a court case about a traffic accident, the conclusion of a search operation in Wroclaw, and statistics on incidents at city bodies of water. Plus, we'll cover the prompt arrest of a suspect preparing an attack in Poznan. In short, friends, we'll have a detailed analysis of the legal and social aspects of what's happening. Please give a like to support the working class and aerodynamics. Right now, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss new episodes. Thank you to everyone who takes 2 seconds and does these simple actions to show support. Thank you. But let's get down to business. Just a warning, this video probably falls into the true crime category. We will look into real tragic events, court cases, and criminal offenses. We'll discuss incidents without dwelling on the brutality, but with an analysis of the facts, causes, and consequences. If this topic makes you uncomfortable, it's probably best to skip this episode. Now let's get down to business. In Poland, the daughter of wealthy doctors was sentenced to 5 years in prison for a car accident that killed 3 people. Her mother owns a private clinic and her father is a physician. Despite the conviction being final, the woman hasn't spent any time in jail. The convicted woman has not spent a single day behind bars yet. She was represented in court by as many as 3 lawyers. The case began in May 2021 in Alexander Flotsinski. At that time, Agnieszka, who was 23 years old, was driving an SUV, overtaking one car after another. She sped up to 120 km/h in a 50 km/h zone, ending in a head-on collision. Agnieszka's SUV swept 2 oncoming motorcycles off the road. The motorcyclists weren't breaking any rules or driving into oncoming traffic. They weren't at fault. 2 men died at the scene, and the injured woman died soon after in the hospital. The trial lasted for 3 years. The accused expressed regret, yes, but did not admit guilt. She only admitted to what she was found guilty of. The court sentenced her to 5 years in prison. Initially, the sentence was postponed so Ms. Agnieszka could finish her dental internship. That's how it is with dentistry. Then the court granted her another year of postponement due to mental health issues. Well, of course, not everyone wants to go to prison. Your mind can break. Unofficial reports say the convicted woman had severe depression. Well, it happens. The families of the victims consider what is happening, to put it mildly, unfair, and are asking whether this lenient attitude of the court is connected to the high status and wealth of the convicted woman's family. The woman herself and her relatives say, well, we refuse to comment. Friends, what actually happened? In her SUV, the lady ignored traffic rules, was going more than twice the speed limit, and simply destroyed 3 human lives. 3 people died. This isn't some kind of accident, right? Like someone running out onto the road, a small child, God forbid, or something like that. This is a natural consequence of deliberate reckless driving. And what kind of response from the justice system do we see? The court proceedings have dragged on for a long 3 years. If it had been a Ukrainian, he would have already either ended up in prison or been sent to the front. Of course, deportation, right? But here, 3 lawyers are looking for loopholes. In the end, a 5-year sentence, which in itself raises questions about whether it's proportionate to what was done. And then comes the most interesting part. The convicted person doesn't spend a single day in the cell. Yes, a dental internship, that's important. Yes, teeth need to be treated. And of course, doctors are needed to treat them. But apparently, professional achievements matter. The guilty are put above the memory of the deceased. Then a medical excuse is found in the form of depression. This, of course, causes anger among the victim's relatives and among any reasonable person. When a family has resources, private clinics, and connections, the system suddenly shows miraculous humanity and postpones punishment for a very long time. And ordinary people, meanwhile, wait for years for some kind of justice, watching the law be applied selectively. So, friends, this is a clear example that not everyone is equal before the law. Yes, friends, it's the perfect time to leave a comment. Dennis, what are you saying? Who gave you the right to breathe the wonderful Polish air, read Polish news, and even have your own opinion? You're in Poland. Forget about all that. You're not allowed. It's the perfect time, yes. And we're moving on. We have the second story coming up. A large-scale search for 24-year-old model and singer Jessica. In Wroclaw, unfortunately, it ended in tragedy. The girl's body was found by divers, not in a body of water, but near her home. The disappearance of the young artist, who just recently shined on the catwalks of Wroclaw Fashion Week, shocked her loved ones and probably her social media followers as well, and there were quite a lot of them. Jessica disappeared on July 13th at 9 p.m. She returned to her apartment on Kunitskiego Street, after which all contact with her was lost. Her relatives raised the alarm when it turned out that the girl had left home, and not in the usual way, because when a person leaves home they usually take their mobile phone, maybe their documents, but she left both her phone and her documents behind. Police officers and volunteers quickly joined the search. The case reached its conclusion on July 15th during the night between Tuesday and Wednesday. An analysis of footage from city surveillance cameras showed that the girl was in the area of the pond, which is located not far from her home, during the night. The rescue service reached the scene. So, at 2 a.m., divers recovered the 24-year-old woman from the bottom of the pond. What does the official police statement say? We confirm the tragic outcome of the search operation. At the moment, that's all the information we can provide to the public, yes. The police spokesperson said all required investigative actions were completed at the site where the body was found, under the prosecutor's office supervision. And according to the preliminary findings of the experts, there were no third parties who could have been involved in the girl's death. That is, the exact cause of death will be determined by the autopsy. By the way, friends, if you're from Wroclaw, write in the comments because it's very interesting to know where you're from. The girl's death has drawn attention to the serious issue of safety on the city's bodies of water. Wroclaw, interestingly, according to statistics, is the most dangerous city in Poland in terms of the number of drownings. On average, a human life ends in these waters every 30 days. During the period from 2018 to 2023, since that's the only available statistic, 71 people died in the Oder and other Wroclaw bodies of water. This is the highest rate in the country and is twice as high as the corresponding statistics in the cities of Warsaw or Krakow. The overwhelming majority of the victims are men, most often between the ages of 31 and 50. That's 61 out of 71 people. A huge percentage of deaths occur due to accidents at night. And by the way, friends, I'll tell you that there are already some serious debates going on in the comments, because some people are saying that there is some kind of maniac. I'm not claiming that at all. Let the authorities speak. Some people are even saying, "Forgive me, Lord, that human sacrifices are being made." Well, friends, the death of a young girl within the city limits is, yes, a tragic incident. However, the official conclusions and the investigation about the absence of third parties, well, everything points to an accident. Regional specifics. Write in the comments whether you believe it or not. Well, in general, yes. Wroclaw shows abnormally high rates of such incidents. Well, maybe. I have been to Wroclaw. There really is an extensive network of reservoirs and rivers within the city. With a lack of proper lighting and fencing, well, there is a certain threat. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. She just went and drowned herself. Well, come on. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, although I don't know. Those who are from Wroclaw, people are watching, friends, write in. Have you ever spontaneously gone for an evening swim in the city river? I don't know. But nevertheless, we remind you about the importance of personal caution. So friends, what else caught my attention? Something really wild. Well, all our stories are unpleasant. The true crime format requires it, yeah. But I saved this one for last. In Poland, law enforcement prevented a possible tragedy after a message appeared online with threats of an attack on 3 kindergartens in one of the districts of Poznan. The Central Bureau for Combating Cybercrime quickly found the post and identified its author, a 29-year-old resident of the Greater Poland Voivodeship. This doesn't happen every day, does it, friends? According to the investigation, the man stated his intention to carry out an attack. He created an online poll where he suggested choosing which kindergarten to target. He also described the plan for the attack and in general what he was going to do next. Well, what are your thoughts? What comes to your mind? It's clear the person wasn't in his right mind, that something was wrong with his head. Just a few hours after the publication, law enforcement officers detained him in his apartment. During the search, bladed weapons, psychotropic substances, and computer equipment, which was used to publish the messages, were seized. Yes, he was interrogated and he admitted his guilt. The court ordered him held in pretrial detention for 3 months. Well, we'll sort it out. In general, for preparing to commit a crime, the sentence ranges from 2 to 15 years. We'll see, because the investigation into the case is still ongoing. The Poznan Grunwald prosecutor's office is handling these cases. Well, of course, yes. But It's like, yes, yes. Let's see how it all ends and how long this will last. In general, he will undergo a psychiatric evaluation. Here I am, for God's sake, telling everyone, let's live in harmony. And I get blamed for things, and here this guy wanted to do something like that. Well, let's see. So friends, that's the news. I think if you watched this far, it means you're either interested in what I do or you like the true crime format, so let me know in the comments. Well, actually, by the way, from a psychological point of view, friends, I'll tell you why true crime is interesting. Yes, because the brain is always assessing risks to understand danger. Stories about crimes or tragedies are perceived as a kind of educational material. How did it happen? Could it have been avoided? Next, there's curiosity about unusual events because most of our lives are generally predictable. And high-profile crimes and disasters stand out sharply from our normal view of the world and, of course, attract attention. Next, there's the desire for justice. People are interested not only in the crime itself, but also in whether the culprit will be found, what the punishment will be, and whether the system will work. Emotional tension. True crime is often structured as an investigation with an unknown ending. It uses the same mechanisms as a good detective story, only the events are real. And of course, there's public discussion. Friends, such stories become a reason to talk about safety, the work of the police, the courts, the psychology of criminals, and especially these days, the state of society. Yes. Well, we don't focus on shocking details. I think that, well, calling it true crime is too much, yes, for my episodes. But in general, we pay attention to facts, reasons, and conclusions. Thank you for your attention, friends. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. That's all for now. If you watched till the end, right, Dennis watched till the end from the city of Loitz once. Or from the city of Vladimir, like my subscriber Oleg. All right, that's all. Let's stock up. That's all for now. See you next time.